Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial with Roaring Records. Today I want to talk about automating, and these are just the basics of automating and things you might want to know if you want to be expressive with your tracks and make them change some aspect over time. So there are a few things that you might want to do in automating that would be kind of interesting. One of those might be you might want the volume to change. Maybe you don't want the volume of this track to stay right at 0 all the time. Maybe you want it to dip and adjust. You may also want it to do things like pan from side to side. So this is the pan knob, and if you just set it and forget it, then it'll be steadily like the whole time on slightly on the left side of your headphones, or right if you do it this way. Or you may want these things to change over time, and we're going to look at making them change over time. So here's just a regular sound. So the automation menu is right here. When you click on it, it brings up this screen, or you can hit A on your typing keyboard to bring it up. And you see that there is a line here. If your line is gray, then just simply click and it'll magically appear yellow. And if you want to add dots to your lines, which would be pivot points along the way, then just click and add dots. So all I'm going to do is take my dots and reshape what I want to have happen here. And you'll notice that this is set to volume right now. A yellow line that talks in decibels would be volume. So now as this track plays, you'll actually hear the volume change in line with the yellow line. And you can watch the little slider change too. So that's kind of neat. That's volume. That's the most commonly used one, and it's the one that default shows up. But you might also want to do pan. So if you click on the arrows, then you can go to main and pan. We like to do absolute. Now the pan line is not there, but as soon as you click, it shows up. If you go all the way to the top, that's your left ear. All the way to the bottom would be your right ear, and you can set it to do all sorts of things as you go. Just doing a bunch of different stuff here. So now you'll hear the volume change because the yellow line is still behind, and the panning, which goes from left ear to right ear. So yeah, it follows that. Now, there is another way you could actually draw in these shapes with your mouse if you want to. If you click here and pick your pencil tool, now you can actually take your pencil and draw if you want some different shapes, and it'll follow those. What happens if I don't like those? I just grab a dot and slide it backwards. That also works better if you use your pointer tool, and then you can just erase all those effects. So those are some different ways that you can input automation into your screen. Those are just track automations. Each track gets its own set of information. I'm going to mute this track now, and I'm going to add an artificial drummer for a moment. So now I've got a track with this automatic drummer on it. Turning the volume down just a little bit so it's not overwhelming to you. There are some other automations in this menu. This is the global automation menu. The most commonly used automation here is your tempo change, whereas you could set a point on this line and drag it down and let your track change tempo instantly. So here we go. Here's an instant tempo change. Now, what if I want that to be a little smoother? Well, I could grab the corner of it and reshape it to be whatever I want it to be. So now you'll hear a more gradual tempo change. Pretty effective way to make the tempo change throughout. So there you could do a global automation. Again, that any automation here affects every track in the whole project at the same time. I'm going to close that just a sec and remind of one other thing that's kind of interesting. If you were to be looking at your volume panning and you decided, oh man, this track is just a little bit too soft overall, I wish I could change every dot at the same time. Well, you can right here in the trim function. If you grab trim and increase, all the dots will change by the same amount, or if you take decrease, they'll change proportionally to their volume as well. So if you want to change all of them at the same time, that would be a good tool for your trim tool. Keeps all the same shaping of the sound, but allows the volume of the whole track to become a little softer at the same time, and that works for any of the individual track automations. Hope this helps. Have a great day.